Guys, it's your girl Kizzy Rock, and yes, Kizzy Rock is my birth given name. Happy Tuesday afternoon, evening. Want to say hey to all my subscribers, new as well as seasoned. I got word for you. Tap in. So actually I have an email response. I have a good sis who emailed me. She listened to one of the recordings, I think the week before last, in regards to kingdom spouses and marriages or kingdom partners, when I was saying that I think a lot of people don't understand how much sacrifice and obedience it takes when they're speaking about kingdom marriages and kingdom partnerships. I say partnerships because everybody's not called to marriage, so you can have a kingdom partnership, seriously. But she was telling me that it gave her like this aha moment because she is, quote unquote, desperately waiting, desperately seeking. And it's like she feels like the more she asks God, the longer God has her waiting. The more she asks God, the more test that she encounters on a daily basis. It's like God is like really like pruning her mouth and pruning certain, and she's like frantically trying to figure out. She's full of rage, right? Because there are certain things that God is allowing to happen on her job or happen just within her life. And she feels like, why am I being tested about holding my tongue? Why am I being tested about, right, control? Why am I being tested about these things? And like, so she's so focused on why is God, quote unquote, punishing her versus giving her what he's promised her. Sis, here's the thing. First of all, thank you for your email. Second of all, thank you for trusting my opinion, all caps opinion. And next, congrats to you for recognizing that God he's up to something. So as I say, just because God promised you something in general doesn't mean that he's going to release it. He shows it to you or he promises it to you, hoping that you will stay on the path, right? And you have something that's motivating you when these tests come and when he starts pruning you for the promise. Well, if you have a picture, right, a vision, a download, a revelation, then it gives you something to really work towards. So here's the thing. If you're asking for a kingdom, and again, even in the recording you listen to, I stress kingdom, right? I stress kingdom spouses and kingdom partnerships. So if you don't want to go through the tough transformation, then just do things on your own accord, right? Marriage is for love solely, and God is not anywhere in it. I mean, let me take it back. I'm not suggesting you do that. I'm just trying to make a point here that, I mean, you have a choice. But I was speaking more so less about the people who are specifically asking for kingdom relationships and really think that they can remain the same. Who came from a toxic upbringing, right? Who are conditioned to dating toxic, unhealed men. So if that is your history, right? You were traumatized for whatever reason, then you have a history of dating toxic, unhealed men. How does it work from going from that to a godly, ordained spouse or partner who is healed, who is whole, who is high value, not speaking high earner here, high value, but you haven't been transformed from the mindset from when you dealt with how does that work? How does that work? Make it make sense, right? Speaking in general, not you. High value men / masculine men / godly men. And again, that doesn't mean churchy, holy, right? He can just be, listen, he got a relationship with God. If he's churchy, holy, great. But he has a relationship with God. He fears God, point blank, period, right? Even if he was once toxic, but he's now healed, he put the work in, right? He got over that heartbreak. He broke generational curses of just mistreating women and cheating every 2 minutes and having babies outside of this marriage. Like he broke those cycles. And he's now healed. These men move completely different than your average dude, they move completely different than your average unhealed toxic dude. And no disrespect to my toxic dude, it is what it is. You get attacked one day, you answer the call one day, hopefully, and God throw you behind up in the isolation season and say, listen here, no more of this nonsense. You gonna break these generational curses. I'll snatch the rug, right? So no disrespect to those ones, right? But when you are asking for kingdom blessings, period, spouses, blessings, kingdom partnership, whatever, everybody moves differently. So you have a group of stubborn women, and I'm a whole woman up over here, right? You have a group of stubborn women who feels as if I'm going to do what I want to do. I ain't changing nothing. Either he's going to accept or he ain't. And that's fine. You absolutely have that right. Truth be told, that's your right. Right? That's your right. But you can't expect someone just to accept you. Meaning, either you're going to just take me the way I am. Nobody have to take you the way you are. Nobody have to take you the way you are. The same way you have a choice to remain unhealed, the person have a choice to accept whatever you got going on or not. And healed people are not going to accept unhealed people. Now, they will help you. They will help you. But they got to see fruit. And you have to be teachable. You have to want help. Okay, so the same way you have these group of individuals who just set in their ways or whatever, and it's fine. Do what you do, right? Okay, so just stop asking for kingdom things. But now you have a group who are teachable, who want help. And this is a conversation I have with men a lot too. It's almost like I understand, and this is not excusing men for any of their foolishness, right? We ain't talking about that. We're taking accountability right now for women. We can have a whole conversation about men on another time, because I promise you I have 1,000 things to say about them too, but that's not what we're doing right now. That's not what we're doing right now, right? And that's another problem, is everything's but men. But we know men got their stuff, right? But how do you heal when you're constantly deflecting from your stuff to focus on the man's stuff, right? Focus on your stuff first, right? Once you're healed, once you're whole, the man's stuff that you're complaining about, most likely you wouldn't even be attracted to those type of men anyway, right? Once you're healed, you attract healed men. Not saying they're perfect either, but you get the point here. But I always say to men, when you are around women, and even though a lot of women can be very, when you do encounter the ones who want to learn, who's asking questions, who's not rising up against everything you say, not that everything they say is right, because they missed the mark a lot too. That's not the point I'm making. The point is, you can learn so much when you just listen and don't try to combat everything they say. Just close your mouth and listen. You'll be surprised how many men are truly willing to help women learn certain things that their own father didn't even teach them. And yes, I can hear y'all now. Men got issues too. We can help them learn things their mama didn't. Absolutely. But that's not what we're talking about right now. A heel-hold, masculine, God-fearing man is not going to tolerate and deal with a disrespectful woman in her mouth. I'm just going to tell you. A toxic dude, you can go back and forth. In fact, he can't get you to shut up. If you want to shut up, you can't shut up, right? And you're only doing that because you don't feel safe. Truth be told. You do not feel safe. He is not proven. He's a liar. He's a cheater. He just don't keep his word. You don't feel safe. So the only reason why you're even acting that way to begin with is because you have to protect yourself. Period. So there's no disrespect to you, even though they have disrespected you to make you feel like you were the issue and you were the problem. You're part of the problem because you have a right to walk away. You have a decision to make. Or you can stay there and keep getting out of character because of his behavior. But I'm going to tell you, he'll hold men who will leave you on sight. The first sign of disrespect. And he may not return ever. So you're questioning, why is God taking so long? Why is God? Well, you know what? I got on this. Let me backtrack really quickly. So anyway, so the young lady was telling him about the personal trainer. He saw something in the personal trainer that, he's God, God-fearing, not church, holy, but again, he knows the Lord. He saw something within the man and he must have brought it to her attention. She feels like he's jealous. High-value masculine men are extremely protective. So again, when they bring something to your attention, if you're healed and you're unwhole, what's going to happen is you're going to be triggered back from the ex who was just jealous and toxic for whatever reason, right? He's cheating, so he's thinking you're cheating. So he's blaming you for all kind of nonsense. So you're going to be triggered back to the person who molested you. He took your control, basically. So if you're not healed, when you come encounter with whole men who are truly just protective men, you're going to be triggered and you're going to see it as he's trying to control me. In fact, he's just very protective. They move differently. But back to the disrespect. So God probably is working on your mouth because God knows. God already knows. See, you don't know yet because you're coming from toxic people. So you don't know. So God already knows. Instead of me releasing something to you next month and you're still having mouth problems with your boss, right? You're still having mouth problems with me and I'm God and you're still fussing with me about certain things, then I'm not going to release certain things to you that I know that you will end up losing because I already know he ain't going to stay. He's going to leave you on sight. And now here you coming back to me with a broken heart. But God, why would you do? So instead, I'm going to let you have your hissy fit while you wait on me to release certain things. Because the things that your mama saw you was not the things you saw your mom do was not the correct way. You saw your mom emasculate your dad or her boyfriend for whatever reason. Right? He's just as toxic, so he's just sitting there just ignoring her, and that makes her more mad. Right? So all the stuff you saw, right? All the stuff you saw that you just go over your man's head and do what you want to do, and you don't have to even get all that stuff was just not the right way. And I can feel some of y'all not. Again, I'm speaking about God ordained relationships and partnerships and marriages. These men pour into you where your ex, that narc, that toxic man, they deplete you. They take from you. That's why when you leave the relationship or even within the relationship, your self-esteem is to the floor. They beat you down intentionally because they want you to feel so low that you won't even have the confidence to leave them because no other man wants you. Yet every man trying to holler the minute you walk out the door, but then I'm pounding that stuff in your head so much that you really believe that you can't pull another one. And you got choices. They're toxic too, so you ain't just stay where you're at, right? They're toxic too. But these men pour into you. These men will invest in you. They invest their time. Now, granted, they're going to watch you. They're going to watch you for a minute, right? And rightfully so. They should for different reasons. But they're going to watch you for a minute to see how you move. But when they develop a trust for you, and they can see that you really move from a heart posture. Your spirit is pure. Your spirit is right. Doesn't mean you're perfect. You still have your moments, but whatever. Your spirit is right. They will invest in you. And they truly want the best for you. Even if it don't even work out, they truly want the best for you. So it's completely different. These men are safe. So safe that if you're not healed, you will start trying to cause issues because it's too quiet. It's too safe. Nothing's toxic. It's just he's boring, right? He's boring because you're used to that nonsense. You're used to having to check his phone, or he's going through your phone and he's popping you in the head at 3 o'clock in the morning, or you popping him in the head at 3 o'clock in the morning because you done saw a text message or something's crazy. And there's always drama. It's always non-stop drama, right? So now you're in a situation where everything is peaceful and nobody's cheating and nobody's accusing and everything's calm, and you're just like, you're boring. Right? And it's because you're not used to that peace. You're used to drama. This is why you have to be transformed first, because within the transformation season, right, there's an isolation season. And so you learn peace because God takes and strips you from everything that you finally discover true peace. So this is why God has to transform you, because before he releases you, he knows that these are things that you're going to be introduced to on the other side. So because now you've been transformed, now you've experienced the isolation season, you know what peace is. And once you've discovered peace, you will do everything in your power to always protect peace. Once you discover peace, you will never, ever, ever, ever allow anyone to disturb your peace. So now when he releases you to a peaceful man, you're good. He's trying to help you, truth be told. So yes, he's working on that mouth, because you can't be, in general, just not with your man, right? Where God is taking you and God starts blessing you in certain kingdom environments, like you just, listen, you got to move a different way, right? You got to really trust God to move in certain situations when you really want your flesh to pop off. Not to say you won't have a moment every now and then. That's not the issue. You're human. You repent. You get back to it. But God is transforming you to trust him fully. God is also restoring your confidence, restoring or building your confidence and your self-esteem, because high value, masculine, God-ordained men are very busy and they don't have time for your neediness and your clinginess every 3 seconds. I can feel somebody just got hit just now. So God is preparing you. God is trying to help you to find your purpose while you're waiting, while you're in this isolation, transformation, single season. God is trying to help you establish your purpose, right? And he may merge it. He may merge the purpose when he releases your kingdom peoples. But until then, I mean, you got to be establishing your own purpose. That way, if this man have to be gone for 5 days on a business trip and it's something that you just can't go for whatever reason, maybe you got to stay home with the kids, or you got to just stay back for whatever reasons, right? You're not bringing that drama about you're going for 5 days. The man is working. He ain't in the clubs. He's working. But now you want to bring drama. You want to stress the man out because he couldn't answer the phone. But these type of men already got a pressure on them that the average man don't. See, your toxic ex, he ain't got no pressure other than his other baby mama, right? He don't have that kind of pressure on him. But these type of men who have elevated, they have a lot of pressure on them. They're taking care of probably different households, right? Not like that, but like maybe their mother and, things like that. But they have a lot of pressure already on them. Their purpose, their calling. So all that nonsense about why you ain't answering the phone, you must be cheating. Ciao. Ciao. Nobody got time for that, period. A woman or a man. Nobody got time for that. Sir, I will block you and your daddy. Do not harass my nerves with that nonsense. Woo, ciao. Um, excuse me. So yeah, God is working on your mouth because of that. God is working on your confidence and your self-esteem and your purpose. Oh, speaking of that, these men typically have a lot of women who are checking for them. Women, you're a woman, women, we like men who are leaders, right? We like men who are confident. We like men who know who they are. We like men who are tapped into their purpose and their vision, right? Because that says a lot about leadership, et cetera, et cetera. So these men typically have other women who are checking from them. So you got to be confident. You got to know, like, listen, you in the room and you see about five little dusties, little mud ducks, winking their big eyelash at your man or whatever. You're just thinking to yourself, girl, girl, right? Ain't nothing happening. I would rebuke you, but it's not even a need to rebuke you because I already know what it is, right? So you got to be solid. You got to be confident. You ain't got time to be worried about no other chick. Like, that ain't even, child, you ain't worried about that nonsense, right? You're not worried about that. So that's why God is also working on your confidence and your self-esteem. And listen, men are men, right? Well, humans are humans. So it's not to say that somebody won't, might ever in 1,000 years just try to slide left. Just check us behind really quick on a nice meeting of the minds. Sir, don't try me. I will leave your behind tomorrow. Get it together, right? This is your warning. I'm not all down your neck, but I will not be disrespected, point blank period. I don't have a problem with you looking. We're humans. You can look, but wink the eye again. And they won't even do that. High value men really respect. They respect the women or the people in their lives. Even if they're thinking one thing, they're not going to act on it, right? If they're disciplined enough, if they're just speaking of that, they're typically very, very disciplined. So certain things you can kind of like try to intrigue them, and like if you want something, right? You want a new bag or you want a trip, and you might try to, child, please, they're disciplined. They ain't moving on your foolishness, right? They're very disciplined in different ways. They're very disciplined in their finance. Speaking of that, very disciplined in their finances. I said this before. High value masculine, again, high value, not high earner. Masculine men are very frugal. Many of them are very, very frugal. Like, seriously, people would tend to think because this person looks like they have a lot of money, that's why they do. They're very, very frugal. Some would say cheap, but very frugal. High earners typically be completely different because they, those are like never mind, I don't want to label anybody. The high earners just have a lot of money, but they have no integrity or character to keep the money, right? Because they're doing the wrong things with it. They got 55 baby mamas. They're taking care of 75 different chicks just because she's bad. The chick ain't got no soul, but she's bad. 5 years you broke, right? But so they're very disciplined. So you may realize too that God is disciplining you in a lot of areas. God may be disciplining you in your finances. God may be disciplining you in your spending habits because he already know, like, and don't get me wrong, he'll take care of you, right? These type of men they will take care of you, like, seriously. But that mindset of just spending $2,000 on clothes every single week and that nonsense, like that foolishness, then, so you may realize that God is starting to work on you and starting to discipline you in your finances as well. Because, your toxic ex, he probably been in the street. He probably just, every time he cheat, he buy you a new piece of jewelry, or he takes you on a trip, or he takes you out to eat. Just foolishness and nonsense, right? I'm trying to think what else you said in your email where you feel like God, you said, your mouth on your job. You didn't say finances, but I just added that in. I should have had your email pulled up. I'm sorry. But overall, allow God to do what God is doing because God knows what he's doing. Again, I've had the privilege. I was about to say, well, I guess I've had the privilege of knowing both unhealed and healed. Right. Many on both ends of the spectrum, I guess. So I'm telling you, allow God to do what God needs to do because For one, God is not going to release again anybody that he has ordained for you until you have been transformed, until God has prepared you to receive his blessing. Let it be a man or a thing or a place or, right? God's not going to release kingdom things to you until your mindset, it's a mindset shift, right? It's not even so much about you. It's a mindset shift. You can still be you, but it's a mindset shift. So you have to move a certain way. You can still be you, period. You can still be you, but you got to be, trust is another thing. Trust, let me tell you. You know what your little toxic ex or whatever, right? Like you can do like little petty stuff to try to make him jealous. Like you find out he did this, now you gonna play tit for tat. Oh, I don't trust him. He ain't gonna trust me. I'm gonna make all this nonsense, right? Trust. Let me go back really quick. Respect. Respect is at the forefront. Well, that kind of ties in, but respect and trust is crucial. There's no way around it. There's absolutely no way around it. You know what your ex, like you know how you would have these conversations like, well, I love you, but I don't trust you. That ain't happening, right? If that trust has been broken in any way, you might as well go ahead and dead the whole relationship. It's done. It's done, right? Trust and respect is a factor. And I can hear women saying now, well, you want to be respected and you got it. That's the whole point I'm trying to make. They won't do something to have you disrespect them. They won't. That's your crazy ex, Lil Tony, right? I don't know why Lil Tony is always the name when I make these recordings. So they won't even do anything because, again, they move differently. They have character. They have integrity. So they're not doing things out in these streets to make you disrespect them. However, if you just haven't been transformed yet and you feel like you can just disrespect them because you disrespect Lil Tony and you're thinking like you're just going to be that way because you weren't transformed, child, ain't nothing happening. Leave you on sight. Leave you looking like a straight fool. Won't even argue back with you. Speaking of that, they ain't arguing with you. All that back and forth you did with Lil Tony and he ain't come home and all that foolishness, that ain't happening. Ain't gonna be no arguments. It's gonna be some meeting of the minds. It's gonna be some conversations, right? You might get checked a time or two, but it ain't gonna be no disrespect and it ain't gonna be none of that nonsense, right? Oh, one thing's popping up. You were saying that one of your areas that you feel like God is trying to like transform your quote unquote. You did say that you're very gruff. It's kind of the way you describe it, like very gruff, maybe / masculine or whatever. Let me tell you, I've said this 1,000 times. I'll say 1,001. Don't ever, ever, ever make an excuse for being a strong woman. Ever. Because again, that strength is what's going to get you guys through those difficult seasons, right? Seasons changes. You know, his life can turn upside down. He can lose his whole business tomorrow, right? So there's nothing wrong with strength. The thing is, we got to learn how to compartmentalize it. We got to know how to shelf it and pull it out when it's time to pull it out, right? So you always want to keep your strength. But here's the thing. This is the whole thing. When you're in their presence, you don't even feel a need to, like, I can pull videos right now from my own channel, when I'm around masculine men and when I'm around just low Tonys. I don't even know why I'm around low Tonys, but I don't know. I might have just been somewhere. I don't even know. But you can see the difference in my energy. If I'm somewhere with low Tony, right, just kind of maybe having a conversation, I don't even know. But I mean, I'm running over Lil Tony because I don't feel safe. Lil Tony can't protect me, right? Lil Tony can't protect himself, right? But I respect Lil Tony, I guess. Like, you know, I'm not going to disrespect him, right? It just ain't nothing happening, right? But then when you see me in the presence, and I'm a strong woman, zero apologies. But then when you see me in the presence of masculine men, never, ever will I disrespect or dishonor or try to like run him. No, like these men, literally, if I'm honest, these men make you feel like little girls again. You feel safe. And that's not to say that you're still not a strong person. You're still strong. It's just that you can kick your heels off, right? You can put your feet up. They got it. And granted, that thing pops up every now and then where you just kind of, and it's kind of like innate in you. So sometimes you may just kind of, you may move a certain way. You're not really tapped in like that. But they will bring it to your attention. And they won't even do it disrespectfully. That's another difference. They won't even do it disrespectfully. Your ex, a little Tony, see, that's the problem now. You like truly disrespecting you and really trying to make you feel bad about areas that you already want to work on yourself, or areas that you can't even help because you're so used to defending yourself because your daddy wasn't there, or because someone violated you, or every man you ever met was just straight trifling, right? So your ex is sitting here putting you down and making you feel bad about something that truly is just a natural response. It's a trauma response. A high value man is not going to do that. He is not going to put you down. First of all, he's tapping enough to see why you are that way. So rather than him judge you, he's going to address whatever the issue is that even caused that behavior. And then he's going to physically start doing things to override whatever you're doing physically. So let's say, for example, your natural response is to, let's say you guys are out to dinner and you just randomly, y'all walking side by side or whatever, and you go for the door and he's right there. You're not doing that to say you're not man enough. It's just natural. Well, he's not going to sit there and like down you. He's going to put his hand on your hand. Like, listen, I got this, right? And then the more and more he does that, you get, and you're like, you know what? Please forgive me, right? It's not intentional, right? I'm going to work on that. Please give your girl some grace. That was not you. So he'll work with you. But the problem is, women are so, something coming to my head again. I was at matter of fact, it was when I found an additional pair of wicker chairs I didn't even need, but I found them, right? So it was this guy, so I already paid for the chairs, so I was dragging one to the door because I didn't see any other men around, seriously. But he was like somewhere, I guess he was already looking at me because I never even saw him. But then he came out, he's a big guy, looked like he's Puerto Rican, big guy. And he literally came and he said, well, can I put these in your trunk for you? And I was like, my God, please, right? So I told him, I said, they don't make them like you no more. And he said, to be honest with you, they do. But the woman won't even let you. He said, do you know how many women I try to help like this on a daily basis? And they're like, no, I got it. Da, 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 da. And he was like, so I just walk away like, all right, well, do what you do. So it's not that the men are not out here. The question is, can you receive them properly? Because they're different. And if you're not healed, you're going to really think these men want something from you. You want to think these men, but they move differently. So if God is trying to truly heal you, and that's what God will do. God will use your current circumstances. He will use your job. He will use the people in your household. He may use your children to stress you out. And one day you, boom, convicted. Don't you say, yeah, they're acting a fool, but don't you say nothing to them. And you're like, God, wait a minute. Because they ain't going to run my household. And he's like, don't you open your mouth. So God will literally use your current circumstances to help transform you, right? And to help you prepare for the very things that he has coming for you. And again, I can speak about different things, but you asked specifically about a kingdom partner or spouse. But this really goes to just kingdom blessings in general. The way you steward things, right? So things that would, never mind, because it's going to go left. But it could be about kingdom things in general, right? You just answered the call, but now God have to shift and change the mindset. God have to prune you. God have to teach you. You have to unlearn a lot of the things that you were taught, for God can teach you the proper way. When God placed people in your path to help you, you got to be teachable. So when you're going against it, all you're doing is prolonging your process. So when you have proven men, not just any men. See, some of you guys just because a man is nice looking, right? You want to be sitting there trying to believe everything he says, and there's nothing but game, right? You got to find men who are proven and who are truly living the life that they're speaking about. And that is not low Tony. You guys have a great one. Have a great evening. It's your girl, Kizzy Rock.